Good morning, you're watching Carlton Television on the eve of 2000.
You're looking at live pictures from Millennium Island in Kiribati in the South Pacific, where the local time is just after 5 minutes to midnight. Now, these people don't actually live here. Millennium Island is normally uninhabited. But they've sailed in from the capital today to be the very first people in the world to enter the year 2000, the 21st century, and the third millennium. Good morning and welcome to ITV Countdown 2000, the start of our live coverage of this historic day. And it's already proving to be quite an extraordinary one, with the news in the last hour from Moscow that President Boris Yeltsin has resigned. We'll tell you more about that in a minute. But on this Millennium Eve, we'll be keeping you regularly in touch with the best of the celebrations worldwide, as each time zone greets its Millennium Midnight and its first dawn. And we'll be reminding you how long it is to our midnight, with our ITV Countdown 2000 clock, which is high up above the River Thames. And tonight, that will be at the centre of London's river celebrations. And on a day when all eyes will be on the clock, we'll be bringing you live the world's most famous clock, Big Ben, as it bongs each hour through the day. It's the first time a live camera has ever been allowed inside the clock tower. But that party in the Pacific is well underway now, so let me hand you over to John Suchet. John?
Well, we'll be bringing you regular updates as successive time zones enter the 21st century. And we'll bring you pictures of all the main celebrations across the globe. But right now, the eyes of the world are on Kiribati as 70 singers and dancers act out a dramatic ceremony. Well, we saw them just a few moments ago. There we are. The song is called Tebino, a call for peace and unity as they enter the new century. And where is Kiribati? Why is it the first place to see the new millennium? Well, let's have a look at our virtual reality globe, which we'll be using throughout the day to track the new millennium. Now, Kiribati is right here in the middle of the Pacific on the equator. Let's have a closer look at it. Incidentally, it's written Kiribati, as you can see, but it's spelled Kiribati. It's made up of 33 islands, many of them uninhabited. Now, let's put the very unstraight international date line down on the map. There it is. The time and place is just on the eastern side of it. It's just before midnight yesterday, December the 30th. On the other side of the date line, it's 1 day later, just before midnight today, the 31st. Now, if you wonder why the international date line isn't straight, the reason is that it used to run right through Kiribati. So when it was yesterday in some of the islands, it was today in the others. So, 4 years ago, the President moved the date line. And that's how Kiribati becomes the first place in the world to see in the new millennium. That song called Tebino. And it's a song of peace and hope for the new millennium. "70 singers and dancers in all. We said they don't live on this island. Actually, it took them 3 weeks to get there from the capital. And have a good look at this island, because you won't be able to see it for much longer. It's actually so low in the sea that the ocean is threatening to submerge it, and one day will. We're told in 30 years' time, Millennium Island will simply not exist anymore. An old man is beating a rhythm on a box for them to sing to. A little over half a minute to go to midnight on this island. Let's bring onto the bottom right-hand corner of your screen the ITV Countdown clock. Let me remind you, it tells us how long it is to go here in Britain until midnight. So a fraction over 14 hours to go here. Big Ben in the top right-hand corner, of course. And let's hear the singers lead up to midnight as the first island, the first piece of Earth on this planet, is about to enter the 21st century Just 7 seconds to go, and we'll accompany it with the bongs of Big Ben, the first part of the world to enter the new millennium. That little boy is 9 years old. His name is Kayo, and he symbolizes the future. And we're about to see the President. There he is sitting by the flame. This burning torch will be handed to the small boy by President Suchet. There he is, the man that moved the dateline and made this island the first in the world to see the new millennium. So there we are, Kiribati, the first place on Earth to enter the 21st century. Trevor.
Kiribati leading the way into the new millennium. Now let's take a look at how we'll be bringing you the best and the brightest coverage of the world's millennium celebrations during the rest of this historic day. Just before 11 o'clock this morning, we'll be taking you to Auckland in New Zealand for live pictures of their Millennium Midnight. Sydney, Australia, which put on a pretty good show last year, is billing this year's as the largest fireworks party on Earth. Coverage of that starts at 12:30 as part of a specially extended program. As the new millennium begins its journey through the Far East, I hope you'll join us again at 3 o'clock this afternoon, our time, for scenes in Tokyo. At 4, the new millennium dawn will break over Pitt Island in the South Pacific. It's the first inhabited place on Earth to see the sun in the year 2000. At 6, we'll bring you up to date on all the day's events so far in a special half-hour program. At 8, live coverage of the London Eye Millennium Wheel, officially launched by Tony Blair. At 9, at Tower Bridge, the Queen lights the Millennium Beacon before sailing down the river to the Dome. At 10 tonight in Manger Square, Bethlehem, 2,000 years of Christianity will be marked with the release of 2,000 doves of peace. And then at 5 to 11, as the Queen arrives at the Millennium Dome and continental Europe cracks open the champagne, join us for the start of a special 2-hour program of live coverage nationwide. We'll bring you all the key moments from the Dome, where 10,000 people will join the Queen and the Prime Minister. At midnight, our special camera inside Big Ben will capture the historic chimes. And as they fade away, we'll show you the River of Fire at the start of Britain's biggest ever firework display. Of course, we'll keep you up to date on all the day's news, including the latest international story that's developing right now in Moscow. President Boris Yeltsin has announced his resignation. He made the announcement on national television and said that presidential elections will be held within the next 3 months. We'll have a full report on that and all the political reactions surrounding it on our main news bulletin at 12:30 today. Before that, we are back in an hour's time with Midnight in New Zealand. I hope you'll join us if you can. Until then, goodbye, as we leave you with those live pictures from Kiribati. Goodbye.